Welcome to our first AMA. Ask me anything. I think we wanted to do this because, yes, this team sitting here, are building Indyx, but so are you guys right along with us. And we want to do things that make it feel more like that and just help us be more transparent and answer the questions you have about what we're doing and why. So let's get into it. Okay, Therese.
Let's get started. Okay. First question. I'm curious about the team. It sounds like a dozen or two people. What's the mix of what people do? How many engineers?
Well, I am super flattered that you think that we have half a dozen people, but the reality really is that basically everyone you see here is our entire team. So we have a total of 4 team members. There's me and Devon. We have one engineer named Dima.
Shout out to Dima.
Shout out to Dima. And we have our creative director, Therese. So in terms of what we do, Dima and I work very closely on the product side. I basically play the role of a product manager and also a UX designer. So I collaborate with the team on what features to develop and how we really do our roadmap. And once we align on that, I basically get into Figma and actually really mock up every single screen and work very closely with Devon and Therese on how it should look, what it should do. And then once we do all of that, we pass it over to Dima. Dima is basically the builder that brings kind of our product vision to life and sort of put it into the product that you have in your hand. And so that's Dima and I, and then Devon leads growth for Indyx, and that really translates into 2 main functions. One is business development, and the other one is marketing. So on the BD side, you guys know that we have a styling platform. We use creators and stylists, to offer styling services for you. And that is a big growth driver for us in terms of bringing users onto our platform. So Devon is responsible for really making sure that we have a really healthy pipeline of creator stylists who's going to be able to come on here, become stylists for you, and also bring their followers, onto Indyx. And then finally, and I guess on the marketing side, Devon's also in charge of the marketing calendar. So that's blogs, social media calendar, and Therese plays a huge part in bringing the social content to life. And also, just how we look across the app, the website, and just everything that we put out to making sure that we're looking beautiful for you.
Next question. Will Indyx remain free?
This is the big question, right? We get this all the time, and I totally get it, right? You have created a digital wardrobe under the auspices that it would be free, right? And those basic functionalities would be free. And it would feel really bad to have that kind of, taken away from you or the deal changed, right, underneath you. And we never want to have you feel like your wardrobe is being held hostage, right? So let me say this clearly. We believe at our core that the basic functionalities of a digital wardrobe, so digitizing your items, creating and saving outfits, and tracking what you wear, should be free. And stop. And will always be on Indyx.
Yeah, and regardless of how many items you have in your wardrobe.
Yeah, 100%. But that being said, we are a business, and for a business to exist, we do need enough income to sustain the business.
And it's actually not just about paying salaries for all of us, right? Photo processing costs a lot of money. Photo storage, storing millions of photos and be able to deliver it to you in a higher resolution way, and also fast, right? That all, the cloud expense, what we call these days, that all costs a tremendous amount of money.
And so when we were kind of making the choice of what business model to go after, right, there's 2 basic choices we think. Either we could be user supported primarily or advertiser supported primarily. And we just really feel that being advertiser supported for this type of product would be pretty disingenuous, right? That's not where we want to go first. There are plenty of other platforms out there where you can have new things to buy put in front of you. And the reason you cataloged your closet was to use what you have, right? And so we would deeply prefer to be user supported. And it also means that we can just keep building things for you, right? The incentives are all aligned to just keep building product for our users, if that is our business model. We've taken the approach of building on top of a free digital wardrobe, but adding user-supported premium features that help you get more out of that wardrobe. Personal styling is an example of that, right? You don't have to opt into personal styling. It's an option. You can just have a basic free digital wardrobe with us, but if you do choose, and thank you to everyone who has, we hope it's brought you an enormous amount of value, but that's an option. And when you do that, it supports not only your stylist directly, but also us as a platform.
Absolutely.
Right. And so I think you can expect us to keep kind of walking down the same path strategically of adding premium user-supported features and services that help you get even more out of that basic digital wardrobe.
Yep, and all of which will be options for you to choose to take on. But when you do, we're hoping that, as Devon said, it will add so much more value. It will take your wardrobe to the next level, and that's where we want to continue to build.
Yeah, but we're never going to hold your items hostage.
No. Yeah. When will I be able to sell an Indyx?
I think this goes back to the fundamental sort of vision of Indyx. And as you can imagine, right, you build a digital wardrobe. I think, it's a foundation of everything that you can do when it comes to digital wardrobe. You can style better. You can see what you have all in one place. And then as a part of that, you'll be able to resell sort of directly from your digital closet. So we do really believe in that ease, in that sort of removing all the friction when it comes to resell. But whenever you're building a business, I think you have to make, we have to decide, where do we focus first, right? How do we really get the business started? And Devon and I really believe the foundation of all the things that we want to do is almost like building a house. You have your foundation, you have your rooms, right? So before you can build a room, you got to build the foundation. So that foundation is a digital record of what you own. But then, it's hard to build that digital record. And we really have to think really hard about what is the incentive for most people who's going to say, great, this is worth my time to actually build a digital closet. And then what we found for most people is actually not resell immediately. And I think fundamentally, right, like we know in resell, data says that 60-70% of us are buying resell secondhand products today, but really only 20 to 30% are actually selling. So it's not, as common as we thought. And we can do a whole other
dissertation
on resell. But bring it back really is, what is that really incentive, right? The number one reason that's going to get people to get their closet catalog. It's actually not resale, it's actually styling, wearing what I have and actually be better to, feel more confident with what I wear every day. So knowing that, which is, you see with Indyx in the last 2.5 years, we've been building, we're very much focused on actually building that styling platform, making sure that we're building a best-in-class platform for you to self-style, to expert style. And there's just so much to do. And so, we imagine that we will continue to spend effort to perfect, to really build styling out. And also now that you know that we are really a team of 4, right, there's a resource question here. So, as we grow, we expect to really enlarge the team, and with more resources, we can take on more projects. But at least for now, I think styling will remain our focus, but it doesn't mean that we're forgetting resale. I think, as I said, our overall vision is a digitized inventory of collective inventory of what we own. We're going to be able to style better. We're going to be able to resell better, and we're going to be able to make purchase decisions a lot better. And that's sort of the holistic vision of Indyx. And we just have to give ourselves time to really grow into that.
Yeah, but the more people we get on Indyx,
yes,
the more possible that becomes. But we have not forgotten about it.
No.
Yeah.
When will wardrobe analytics be available?
Very soon. So soon. I'm really excited about this one, just because I feel like of this group, I know we're all analytics girls, but I really was. I actually cataloged my entire closet over 5 years ago, and I've been tracking what I wear since. And I used one of those other apps not to be named. And I feel like one of the reasons I even jumped on board with you, Yidi, was because I was like, that other app, it's not cutting it in terms of analytics, right? So I'm excited to actually finally be able to build a version that I think is really great, and I think is good enough. Not just good enough, but great for me. And so I'm excited to share that with all you. And so that is coming imminently. Some of you might already have access to it in beta. Hint, hint. But anyway, if you're watching this, like, extraordinarily soon. So, that's the answer.
and also, I think we all really believe that analytics are really important, right? Like it's important for you to know what's in your closet, how you're using it. But also, as we talk about the collective, sort of the vision of building that collective wardrobe, right? And a lot of times, Ev and I, like from our sort of industry background, we realize there's so much inefficiencies that happens in retail, and so much of it is just because every single player, every step of the ecosystem is sort of, there's a deficiency of data, right? And if we can fill in gaps with the data that we have, your real wardrobe, how you're using it, what's in it, what you might be missing, I think we can fundamentally change how retail is done, right? Making it more data-driven, more efficient. And we know that when it's more efficient, there's going to be huge impact on making fashion more sustainable.
I was all over the place when adding my photos. Is there a way for you to resort them? them?
I can speak to that. It's something that we, as a feature that we talk about quite a bit. It's actually one of the most requested feature as well. Yeah. And I think you're definitely not alone. Because when you're just cataloging, right? Like you're kind of you're adding things, and also our wardrobe is a living thing, right? So you can never really expect to just always separate out all the shoes with all the outerwear and then just catalog them in a very static way. We are adding a feature where I think, we call it drag and drop, right? So this way you can custom sort your closet. We think it's super helpful. And also just from a wardrobe curation standpoint, I think, Devon, you said that you've been testing that feature, and there was just more insight that you were able to actually extract by just putting things next. And I guess we call it merchandising your own closet, which I love the way that you put it that way. So we're super excited about that. Again, it's already in beta for those who are on beta. And for those who are not, join beta and help us test. But it is a feature that we're testing, and hopefully that will take away the fear of, you're kind of all over the place and when you're cataloging.
Next question. Will you be adding a mood board function? It would be great to be able to add inspiration photos directly into the app.
This is one that's also very highly requested, which is why it also ended up in the AMA. And I think, yes, we want to. It is not something that we're working on right now. And I think the answer as to why actually is kind of illuminating as to our larger thought process around how we prioritize things. So maybe I'll share that. Which is that one of the things we think about is just what features can we add that are actually completely net new, right? That there's something that you can't functionally do some other way, right? With things that already exist. And a mood board, so I'm assuming in this question that the mood board functionality is something like you're able to save outfit inspo photos into Indyx, and then so have like a folder or a collection of those images, and then be able to maybe even put them on the outfit board. So when you're recreating that outfit, it's right there front and center when you're making an outfit. The thing with that is that you kind of already have like 80% of that functionality with just like your camera roll or Pinterest, which already exists, right? Of course, it's not as amazing and wonderful as if it was integrated onto the Indyx app, but it's something that you can kind of already do, right? So in that case, that's one of the reasons I think it's falling kind of farther down the list of things that
it is on the roadmap, but
it is on the
further
roadmap,
down the list.
I think there are things, again, with such a small team, we're just working on getting out to you first. There's nowhere else where you can, for example, have analytics about your wardrobe, right? So like, let's build that. But I think it's absolutely something that we want to do. It's just something that we know that you can kind of already get 80% there right now. So like, let's leave it for now. And then I will also say, to Yidi's point earlier on photo processing and storage, that is one of our biggest costs. So for any feature, just being real, any feature that adds to that in any significant way, which a mood board feature would, we just have to be really thoughtful about how we bring that in.
Yeah. And I love the way that you made it, you kind of set that you're like, oh, this is what I assume that you're talking about, right? And then so we're talking about adding an outfit photo. So like, we hear you, it's on the roadmap. It's just not kind of the most immediate top of the list. But we'll definitely get there. But I think when I think about mood boarding, I also think about sort of, in addition to just adding that outfit inspiration photo, like adding other images, right? That kind of is like your mood board. The way that landing might be doing mood board. And I think this is where, and so and if that's not what we're talking about, then I'm just gonna kind of wrap up. But but this is where I feel like we have to draw a line, right? Just like, we are a wardrobe app. And so the things that we tend to collect are sort of what's in your closet. So like, do we see ourselves allowing you to add a bunch of, I don't know, like other images to add to your mood board?
I don't know.
Maybe not immediately. So I think it's something that, I think we'll keep on talking about. But I think the message, the sort of what we're trying to say is there's so much to do, right? Kind of on the core products. And then, certain extensions, I think are just, are things that we're going to be speaking about, when the time is right.
Are you going to make the app more adapted to international users? Specifically, there were a few people asking about a Spanish version.
Ooh, yes, I've seen lots of those Instabugs.
First of all, if you don't know about this, if you ever find a bug or want a suggestion improvement, take a screenshot or shake your phone, submit it that way. They literally all go to Yidi. So Yidi's inbox, she opens it every morning, she goes through the bugs. And I've actually been told by my friends I'm faster at answering Instabugs than actually their messages. So if you guys want to find me on Instabug. So I've seen that coming through, and I thought it was really amazing, right? Because Indyx right now is available on the App Store globally, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can download Indyx.
I think, and let me just share a little bit about kind of our user breakdown. So we're predominantly, our user base is coming from America. I think UK is our second largest user base, and then followed by Australia, Canada. And then we're starting to see things, gaining traction, Hong Kong, Singapore, et cetera. And recently in LATAM, seems like there's been a ton of you coming on board. One feature that we're releasing that really supports international users is currency, right? So one of the main things that you can do in the app is actually track cost per wear, and also, now that dashboards will be soon available, actually start tracking the investment that you make into your wardrobe. And then we understand that everybody buys in different currencies. So we actually, in the last release, added a short list of most popular currencies based on our user base. And I know that many of you have submitted, some of you are in the Philippines, right? We want to add that. Some of you are in Switzerland. So we'll continue to expand the currency list. And right now you can go into profile, wardrobe setting, currency, and actually choose your currency. And for those of you where we haven't, for those of you whose currency that we haven't really put it onto the app, don't worry. You can actually add the cost, right? The numbers just as they are. And then when we add more currencies, it's simply just, we're changing the symbol, right? To basically change it to your currency symbol. So you can already do all the work, and then just know that it's on, we are going to keep on expanding our list of currencies. So that's one thing that we're doing to support our international users. I think the Spanish language request is a little bit tricky because we are a small team, right? Again, there's 4 of us, so resource is always a constraint. And with everything that we do, I hope that you've noticed that we want to do it right. And I think you deserve that. So with a different language, I know that some people are like, oh, but it's just simple translation. But I tend to think sometimes what we call the categories, the subcategories, there's so much nuance even, right? So I want to do it in the right way. And we just don't really have the resources right now to really support a second language. But know that as we expand our team, that's coming. And we're really excited to, kind of expand from a language perspective.
Yeah, just not yet.
Just not yet.
Yeah.
But we will get there.
Okay. Can I see other users' closets, and can Indyx recommend outfits based on the weather?
Yes and yes, but let me caveat. So yes, you can already see other users' closets. That's called our open closet feature. And the way that works is that if you want to open your closet, go into profile, wardrobe settings, privacy, and toggle your closet to open. We designed the system so that your closet is private by default, right? Yep. We never want to invade people's privacy or make things available that they don't want to be available. So that is something that you have to opt into. And then regardless of whether you opt into having an open closet or not, you can go in and view other users' closets who have opted in. So if you go over to the Connect tab, anyway, this might date itself soon, but whatever. It's okay. We're making improvements all the time. We know this UX is a little bit clunky, which is why I'm going to explain it. There's 2 tabs there. There's a featured tab, which are featured open closets, and right now those are our stylists. There's also a pinned tab, and that is where you go in and search other users who have their closets open, and you can pin them. So that's how that works. So yes, you can already look into people's closets. And yes, we can recommend you outfits, but right now that is just done through our stylists, right? Real human stylists who get to know you, your unique, struggles, your unique desires, and can recommend you outfits either on a weekly basis with the feed or on a one-time basis with the lookbook. But I suspect that this question may have had more of an intention of being, can you algorithmically or automatically create outfits for me? So maybe do we want to broaden it out larger to an AI conversation? Let's do it.
Well, it's a hot topic, right? Everything. It's I feel like the whole AI thing have died down a little bit, but literally a year ago, just like if you're not stuffing 5 AI, word AI into every sentence, you should not be in Silicon Valley. So when it comes to kind of outfit recommendations, right? Here's what we're thinking is that I think many of you have probably tried an outfit recommender tool or something, right? And then it spits out an outfit and you're like, most likely it's pretty generic. It tells you what to wear. Sometimes it doesn't get it right, but you have an idea of what you could wear. But then the thing is that it doesn't really tell you why they put the outfit together. And I think a lot of times, we talk a lot about kind of on the styling side. It's like, what is, I think telling you what to wear is the basics, right? It's like, wear this shirt with this pants. But what's the more valuable insight is actually knowing why those outfits work together. And one of the reasons why we chose to go human first, right? Like, sort of offering expert styling support is that our stylists on Indyx are amazing at telling you the why behind why an outfit works.
Yep.
And it's not just about telling you what to wear, it's actually about teaching you how to dress yourself. And the knowledge that you gain from there, you're gonna be able to, it's like, it's not catching a fish for you, but it's teaching you how to fish, right? And I think that's the most valuable way of actually honing your style. Yep. But having said that, clearly not everyone is into having a personal stylist or need to, right? So, and
sometimes it's just about, I feel like the AI outfitting or like give me an automated outfit. It's just like there's a piece that's just like inspiration, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It's another way to come up with new outfit combinations, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Or to battle decision fatigue.
Yeah,
exactly. So. Or to just maybe be surprised on the upside, right? Like what else what else could I be doing? Yeah. And maybe even that this is not going to be 100% perfect all the time, but you just kind of want that programmatic sort of algorithmic output. So that's been something that we're thinking. And as I mentioned before, right, like our team has this thing where we're like, oh, we want to, like, if it's not great, we want to get it to great. And I think one of the reasons why other platforms might not be able to spit out as great outfits is because I think I think what you get as an output is really dependent on the input, right? So then in the digital wardrobe space, I know that there's been so much desire, right? It's been 28 years since Cher's closet, and we just been wanting that. But really, there hasn't been sort of an established way or even a business model that really allows that kind of workflow to really just happen. So I think with Indyx, we're very much focused on building that foundational business model, right? Like, enticing you to get your closet digitized. And then this is how you can get styling, but also like really great styling on top of that. So I think we're doing the hard work of setting up that foundation. And then I think very soon, I think we're going to be able to really expand on that and start to introduce some of these AI styling to you.
Yep. We want to do it right.
We want to do it right. It's just, we know that we really value your time, right? Your time is precious. Your attention is precious. Yeah. And also style it's so personal, right? Style is human. We like to say that. And so I think it's very sensitive, I think, for each of us. It's something that's very close to our heart. So we have this sense of like great responsibility to make sure that we deliver something amazing to you. Yeah. So that's why we're kind of taking our time doing it in a very measured way.
I also think, not to make this answer any longer, but I guess what the hell. I also think there's like an interesting way we could potentially get there where it's not full. So like, I think there's this idea of like, we're just going to skip directly to full AI, right? Where it's like this magic box where it spits out an incredible outfit that I'm just going to put on and walk out the door. But I think the way we're thinking about it is almost like connecting the dots on a human level, right? So I was just revealing too much, but but Open Closet is actually perhaps the first step into how do I get an outfit recommended to me, right? So you might notice that in Open Closet, you can already view people's outfits, right? Yep. So right now you can go and view other people's outfits that humans have made, because again, I think we think humans do it best, right? And like those outfits. In the future, right, maybe the next thing we build into that is, I have all these liked outfits. Maybe we can recommend to you and say, okay, you liked this outfit from someone else's closet. Here's how you can recreate that outfit with things already in your closet, right? So it's not just a black box making a magic outfit. Yeah. It's actually taking the steps of like, okay, you liked this human's outfit. Here's how you can recreate it with your items, right? At some point, you can start taking those, making those steps bigger and bigger. Yeah. But I think that's how we're thinking about walking into it. Yes. From a place where, it's human first. Yeah. And there's a technology built on human understanding and inputs. Yeah. So that, the output is actually good outfits rather than something that feels black box random.
Exactly. So, yeah. I think fundamentally, I think you hear us say, it's that gathering, it's that inputs, right? And it's just like everything that you're doing, every interaction that you're making with us on the app, whether it's get your closet cataloged, liking another Open Closet outfit, those are all such valuable inputs that we're going to be able to understand and then really put it into the algorithm that's going to give you kind of outputs and outfits. Yeah. And this is exactly what I'm saying. Just like, unless we have those ways of capturing those data, then, without knowing anything about you, we're never going to be able to recommend anything amazing, right? So it's just, so I think, and that all takes time to do. Yeah.
There are now hearts next to outfits in other users' closets. What happens when you click those hearts? Can those outfits be saved somewhere that we can easily access for inspiration? And do you plan on having more social activity between users?
Okay, good. Glad I mentioned the hearts. So when you go into Open Closet and heart someone else's outfit, right now the only place that goes is into the other user's closet. So the other user, they can't see who liked it, if that's important to you. They can only see just how many people have hearted it, which I will say as someone who has an Open Closet there and is receiving hearts on my outfit, I really like it.
It's great.
It's nice to see. But yes, absolutely. I think it is on our roadmap to then build a place where you can go see those outfits somewhere for inspiration. And like I said in the previous answer, I think then we can even start building further from that of like, okay, these are the hearts you have. Here's how you can recreate those outfits, et cetera, et cetera. So yes, plan to build on that. I think you'll also see in the way that we develop and release product is like, we like to lay down the infrastructure for something larger, right? And get that out. And then kind of keep building upon that, with little building blocks rather than try to build like a complete 360 all the way vision feature from the beginning.
And a little bit of that is also, sort of we're laying the scaffolding out to kind of see where you're interested, right?
Yeah,
so like if a lot of you are hearting these outfits and you're finding them valuable, then clearly you're going to keep on building there. And this is also sort of the equivalent of that. And I just want to give it a shout out here is on the item side, you can actually alert. There's a bell button, right? And that bell button, what it does is, and when you click on it, we do say, when we have resale, right? When somebody is ready to sell this item, you be the first to know. And the reason why we have it there is because I'm trying to understand, are you guys interested in purchasing from Devon's closet, my closet, Teresa's closet, everyone else's open closet? And that's kind of, it's almost like we're dabbling into that initial resale signal, right? And then I also call it, so, when I go into my closet, I see alerts, like there's like 10 people alerting on one item that I literally have not worn in the last how many years, right? So it's also like, so that I think that demand signal is really, really important to know. And it kind of guides you, especially eventually when we have that resale platform, to know what to sell and to know what might be somewhat popular.
But I think going back to the question then, are we going to build into additional social features? I think it depends on what you guys want in part, right? So we put out an initial social feature, like we want to hear from y'all what you want in that. I tend to think, I'll just give my bias, like I tend to think, I don't know, we kind of have already enough social platforms out there. Like I think our base bias is like, do we really need another one? And again, if there is unique value that we can give on Indyx with the social feature, like let's do it. I also tend to think, I think the number one social feature that people will ask for or say, hey, it would be really cool if I could go into my friend's closet and style them, or conversely, they can come into my closet and style me. I do think there was a bit of a tragedy of the commons situation with that, right? Everyone says, oh yeah, it'd be so great to have someone style me. But when you ask, and we have asked, many fewer people actually will go into someone else's closet and style them
because it takes time.
Because it takes time and effort. Which suggests, well, maybe that's why there are stylists, so that they can be paid for that time. So I think we're willing, I think we're interested and curious about social features. I think the other place is I think what we're really looking for ultimately is inspiration, but tactical inspiration, right? I think if and when we build more social features, I think we want them to be this. You're not just scrolling to scroll, right? You're there and you're exploring other people's closets and how they get dressed because you're looking for how it will help you, right? Which goes back to what we talked about with the hearting outfits and getting those outfits recommended to you. So I think that is how we will build into social as we hear it from you as something you want. But we're not building it just to build it.
What is the average number of items in the closets on Indyx?
That's a very exciting question. And the thing is, you're not the only one who wonders, right? A lot of times I talk to investors, we talk to, kind of our colleagues from the retail world. Everybody's like, ooh, what is the average item, a person has in their closet? So based on what we've seen, around 200 is the average item. But then, having said that, I think everybody approaches their digital closet a little bit differently, right? Some people like to catalog everything they have. So we do have users, lots of them with over 1,000 items, right, in their closet cataloged onto Indyx. I think the top price goes to 2,735. I just checked this morning. That's a lot of items, and I don't think we're even remotely done with her closet just yet. But then, there are other people who kind of only catalog what they want to catalog, right? So that's kind of me. I don't really have my activewear on it. So it just really depends on kind of your approach. But if we were to look at, an average user, if you kind of catalog your full closet, and we consider, it's usually around 200 items on average.
Yep.
And sort of, so the reason why I think this is such an interesting question is because everybody has a lot of questions around kind of the state of our wardrobes, right? But then if you just Google it, or you hear all these sustainability articles, everybody write about kind of the state of our wardrobe, a lot of people are just going to these surveys, right?
Yep.
They're
Survey based,
they're like, oh, we took a survey of 500 people and this is what they told us, and this is what they think is
Which
happening.
People are reliably unreliable narrators, especially because we go into people's homes and for their cataloging appointments, and we're like, can you give us an idea of how many items you have? And they're like, I have no idea. So I don't know how in these surveys people are actually being able to answer accurately.
Exactly. We overestimate or we underestimate. Sometimes we feel guilty, right, about the reality that we just have so much.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that gets me super excited, and this is related to, we talked about dashboards, kind of giving you the data to really empower you, but then also be able to look at the data on an aggregate level. And I think a lot of times when we look at the data on an aggregate level, it gives you a little bit of a benchmark, kind of, so you know how to benchmark yourself. And really, we all live in relativity, right? So I think it's really, so I think there's a lot of insight that we can extract. And again, we can't wait to grow our team. And one of the bigger projects that we want to do in the next couple of months really is to think about sort of a report. Maybe we'll even title it the state of our wardrobe, right? And I think that would be super fun to actually put real data, real closets behind this report and say, this is what we've seen. This is the size of the closet. This is on average longevity of the items that are actually in it. And this is on average how much of it is being worn.
How much you're taking it out, how much is being worn.
Like everybody's saying that on average you wear each item 7 times before it's thrown out. But like, is that true? Like, how do we really get so I think those are some of the things that, we're super excited to validate and to share.
What are some tips to think creatively in building new outfits?
Ooh. I think we can just share what we do.
That's a fun question.
But the caveat is that we're not giving you styling advice.
No. If you want styling advice, use a stylist. Those are not us. Personally, how I come up with new outfit ideas, with anything, it's like overwhelming if you just don't know where to start. And so you just need to pick a starting point, right? So for me, I start from, what are the items I want to wear more, right? So I will actually go into my wardrobe and sort by cost per wear or number of wears, right? And find an item that either I think the cost per wear is too high or I feel like I haven't worn enough, right? And then I will go into that item. I will look at what other outfits I've already created with it, and springboard from there. Put that item into an outfit board. If it's a bottom, I'll say, okay, what tops go with this, right? Add a top. And then it just builds from there. And so that's how I come up with new outfits. And then I always also make sure when I come up with a new outfit to assign it to the calendar, because that means that I'll remember to actually wear it. I feel like we hear from people sometimes that they're like, oh yeah, I have a million outfits in my Indyx app, but I just literally always wear the same thing. And so if you put that thing on the calendar, it gives you a good reminder to actually try it out.
That's true. I think that planning process is important, right? Because every morning we're all probably pretty similar. There's like, I don't know, we're all always late, 5 minutes where you think about what to wear. So if you can just reduce that mental load and actually pre-think, that would be pretty cool. I mean, Therese, you probably have amazing outfit advice.
Super simple, but when I am feeling like I don't have inspiration, open Indyx. Like that's the basic thing.
That's true.
Like, instead of going to the websites to shop, I open Indyx, look at all the outfits I've previously made. Now you can duplicate an outfit and kind of tweak little things here and there. So I kind of like starting with that because I'm like a creature of habit. I like re-wearing things over and over again. So I kind of start with like something I've already worn and loved and felt comfortable in, and then make small tweaks. And then kind of snowballs into like completely different outfits.
It's nice
sometimes.
because it's constrained, right? I feel like and it's equally valid to like go to Pinterest and get outfit ideas from there too. But I think my problem with that is that then there are items in those outfits that you just don't have, right? And then it opens
they're not actionable.
It like opens the door up and it's like, well, maybe I should go buy that item. Okay, let me go shop for that item. And then you're like, and then you end up in this whole loop.
Exactly.
So,
it's very distracting also, right?
And like so just like starting in a constrained place of like, what can I wear for my closet? And there's more combinations in there.
Exactly.
Wait, what's the constraint creates creative or constraint unleashes creativity, right? And I think the creativity is really the bigger theme here, which is if we're constantly being stimulated with new things, then none of us ever bother to be
Exactly.
creative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I don't know about you, but I tend to buy the same thing over and over again. So even when I'm buying new, it's like, oh, the same pair of pants. So yeah.
First of all, thank you for asking this question. It really means a lot to us that you would even ask how you can help. The first way is just to tell your friends about Indyx, and especially maybe why having a digital wardrobe has helped you so much, and why cataloging their closet maybe isn't as scary as they think.
Yeah.
But just growing our user base and having as many people as we can on Indyx is really so helpful. And then the second thing you can do, if you're able to and inspired to, is just engage in our paid features. Obviously, having that monetary support really helps, and it means the world to us when you choose to vote with your wallet in that way.
Absolutely. It's a signal that you love what we do.
Yep.
It's a signal to our investors that you love what we do. And I think that is really, really important.
Yep.
And we thank you in advance for that.
Thank you. Okay, I think that wraps up the AMA. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
It's our first one.
Let's see if anyone is watching to this point. But if you enjoyed it, let us know. And we'd love to answer more questions in the future. So thanks.
All right.
All right.
Bye.